Hello and welcome to On the Prowl. I'm your host, Savannah Shepard, and with me today is the coach of the Hahnville Tigers, Coach Nick Saltaformaggio. Thanks for joining us this week, Coach.
Thank you, Savannah.
Coming up on today's show, Coach Salt will break down last week's game against the Terrebonne Tigers. We'll get Coach to look ahead to this Friday's game against the East St. John Wildcats. And finally, we'll end the show with the 2016 Hahnville Homecoming Court Presentation. Great game, Coach. The Tigers dominated all the way through. What do you think boosted the team's morale in order to play this well?
Well, we've been playing pretty good football since the second half of the fourth game of the season. And I think, we're just kind of getting into our niche a little bit. We seem to have been able to put together these runs late in the year. And, we have that experience to build on. Another thing that's kind of helping us now is we're getting in better weather. And Austin is getting better and better every week throwing the football. So I think there's just a combination of things that are going on to help us, play as well as we're playing.
6 games into the season, are the Tigers peaking at the right time?
We try to get our kids going at this time. I truly believe it's better to play great football in November than in September. Probably doesn't lend you to go undefeated, but it does lend you to get those late playoff runs. And that's pretty much our focus. It's been our focus wherever I've been, and certainly our focus at Hahnville to get those playoff runs going. So I think we all playing pretty good football, but we know we have a good team, that we have to play this Friday night again.
What were some of the things you did that you were usually unable to do in this game, being that you were so far ahead of Terrebonne?
Well, we got to play a lot of guys. It's always fun to play a lot of guys. It makes the moms and dads happy, to see their kids out on the field. Sometimes, those JV kids only get to play on Wednesday, but we're able to get some of our second, third, and fourth unit guys in the game. Another thing it helped us do is kind of rest some skill kids who, have been getting a little beat up over the last couple of weeks. We were in that stretch of some really difficult opponents. So we were able to rest those guys. They didn't have to touch the ball as much. They may have been on the field, but they weren't having to carry the load as much as they had in the past. And we were fortunate because we got a little beat up in the game Friday night. We had some not major injuries other than Waylon LeBlanc. We lost Waylon. Hopefully not for the year. He broke his collarbone. Hopefully we can get him back in the playoffs, but he's going to miss some significant time. But we had some other guys get a little beat up.
Thanks, Coach. Let's take a look at the first half highlights.
It's always early to get that first scoring drive under your belt, get a little bit of an exhale going out, and we get a nice long run right off the bat by Devontae Clark. Did a nice job inside in our run game. We get behind the sticks. We had a penalty, put us behind the sticks, but we come back and run a little slip screen to Devontae, and he makes some guys miss, makes some nice cuts, and he picks up the first down for us. And then we just run a little bit outside zone and do a nice job blocking the perimeter, and Devontae's able to get in and get the touchdown. Defensively, we really played well. I mean, obviously, when you shut out a 5A opponent, you're playing pretty good defense. But, again, we had some guys hurt, and we had to have some guys step up. Khalil Mason stepped up, had a nice game. There's Anthony on a long run that we actually get called back because they called us for holding. But we were able to make up for it. Again, we're behind the sticks. It's something we have to stay away from this week. But we get a nice pass on a little read route down to Cade. Cade does a nice job. He actually gets hurt a little bit on the tackle there. You can see him laying down, but he's fine. He'll be able to go for us again this week. And again, we get an outside zone run by Anthony. He dips inside, and he just makes people miss. Just a very talented kid. We're again back out on defense for us. We get a nice interior push by our defensive line guys on the third and medium play. And we were able to hold it up, and I believe we come right back and stop them again on fourth down. And it's fourth and 2.5. And we get a nice stand here by our defensive front. The ball's on the ground, and we get a recovery. We're up 13-0. We had missed the extra point. Waylon getting hurt kind of hurt us. He's our holder. So we had to get a new holder in, Max Farrell. He came out and did a good job, but that first kind of initial hold, a little shaky. But we get the ball right back up 13, and here's a guy that's just become a dynamic playmaker for us, and Jamel Bird. He's having a great second half of the season, and we got him a couple of balls. He's a big physical kid, strong kid at the point of the reception. He's able to break some tackles by the cornerback, and we come right back, and he makes a great catch. That actually should have been a touchdown, but who knows what the referees see. And we come right back with a quarterback sneak by Austin, and we get a good push in there, and we're up 20-0. Again, we get a nice play right here by Logan Robert. he makes a nice play on a little swing to the back out of the backfield, and we get some great pursuit coming in to help on the tackle, giving those guys a long stick, and we get in there and we make a nice defensive play. Elgin Collins and Dylan Dejeen get in there with Trayvon Honor, and we make a stop. We get him to punt. We get the ball right back, and then it's Cade again. And now this time he doesn't get caught. We get a nice long touchdown reception as the half's kind of coming to an end. We get the ball right back after a turnover on downs and a punt. And we go right back to work with our ground game, running outside zone with Devontae Clark, and we hit Anthony over the middle, and easy touchdown, pitch and catch. Hopefully we have a bunch of those this week. And then they get a nice little drive going, but Hunter LeBlanc steps up in there on one of our roll coverages and makes an interception, and actually does a great job returning it. And it gets us in a position here to make a long throw down the field right before half. And Austin throws a ball down, a little bit of a wounded duck, but Anthony comes over the top and makes the catch for the touchdown. And anytime you have a big lead like that at halftime, it makes for an easy halftime locker room, as you well know.
Mm-hmm. How was Devontae Clark one of your offensive threats, being that he escaped so many tackles Friday night?
He's just a tough physical runner, Savannah. He's good. He has the ability to get behind his blocker, and then he understands, almost like he knows it's going to happen before it happens, which is vision you can't teach. I mean, it's just a gift. And he's able to understand how the block's going to happen, if it's going to be a log block, or he's going to kick somebody out, or we're going to wrap it. And he always seems to be able to find that little crease off of that one block that gets him in the secondary. And then because he's so strong, he's running through tackles.
The touchdown run and 11-yard score put Hahnville ahead at 13-0. Do you think that set the tone for your team?
Yeah, I think so. Whenever you can get those 2 touchdown leads, it just relaxes you a little bit on the sideline. I mean, we had been in some tight ball games the 2 previous weeks against Destrehan and St. Thomas More. So when you're able to exhale a little bit and just kind of relax and just start to enjoy the ball game, you just play better. And I think when we got that second touchdown early in the game, it allowed our kids to relax and just play better.
How did Austin Perrin's passing game help your team throughout the entire first half?
I mean, he's just been on fire. I mean, he's gone back-to-back weeks with 300-yard passing games. I hope he has a third week with 300-yard passing games. But, it's not just his ability as a passer. It's his ability as a leader that means a whole lot to our team. And the fact that he's just a tremendous winner. He finds a way. He kind of carries his team on his back and gets them where they need to get, to get that win.
Let's take a look at the second half highlights.
Great part about the second half is we were able to play a lot of kids. And we were able to play a lot of kids and still preserve the shutout, which is, it was our second one of the season this year. And it's our first district shutout that we've had since I've been here. So, the way the kids were playing, the way the team was playing at this point, hopefully it bodes well for the future. This is a great play by William Brown coming in here. He's, very, very smart kid, very football intelligent as well, and was able to keep his leverage, not lose containment, and then make a play. They get a little bit of a drive, and Hunter LeBlanc comes up with a giant hit and dislodges the football, and we're able to get the ball back. Again, we're trying to get Jamel a touchdown. He makes a nice catch and carries makes a guy miss it and carries another guy for about 25 yards. And Austin comes right back and hits him on a slant, and he takes a big hit there. But we're able to come back and run the same exact play and get him in the end zone. He had a great night. We just wanted to make sure he got that touchdown. And we go back out defensively. Again, we were able to substitute a lot of guys. We felt good about the amount of kids we were able to play. Anytime you can get guys Friday night experience, it bodes well for the future. And we were able to play a bunch of guys Friday night and come away with a win.
How has Jamel Bird helped your team overall, being that he has improved since last season?
Well, I think it stops people from being able to double and triple Anthony. They have to cover Jamel. And, when you got guys on both sides of the football and you got a kid like Austin who's throwing great passes to him, it really makes you difficult to defend. And right now, we kind of got 4 guys rolling fairly well for us. We're going to miss Waylon. Waylon was a tremendous threat for us in our offense, but when you have 43 and 2 and 9 and 7 rolling like they're rolling, we're a hard team to defend.
Tigers are 4-2. Are you where you expected to be after 6 games? Are the team goals achievable?
Yeah, I think our goal of being a quarterfinal football team is achievable. To be honest with you, I really thought we'd be undefeated at this time. I really did. I felt like we had an opportunity to go 10-0, but we stumbled a little bit. We have to find a way to win games. I think people would ordinarily not think we're going to win. That's why the St. Thomas More game was such a huge win for us, because they had beaten us pretty handily the year before, and we were coming off another loss to Destrehan, and we were coming off a loss to Riverside. And I think people were thinking, well, they're probably going to be a 2-3 team and then maybe get a little bit of a run. But we righted the ship, and we really were playing good football. We just haven't been able to get that next step over a very quality opponent until we beat St. Thomas More. So I'm happy with where we are. Again, I would rather be a team that's very good at the end of the year, because that bodes well in the playoffs, than maybe a team that comes out of the gate on fire and kind of tapers off during the playoff time. So I'm happy. Anytime you got more wins than losses, you got to be happy where you are.
Beating Terrebonne 48-0, what are advantages of a big win? Did you get to play players that you wanted to get game experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we played a lot of guys, like I had said, and a lot of guys at different positions too. So it gives us an opportunity to get them on tape and evaluate them as we go forward with our football program, predominantly our young guys. Again, another thing it helped us do is we didn't have to keep giving the ball to the guys that are going to have to step up, especially this week against East St. John. I mean, they're a really good football team. And so we're going to have to make sure when we get out there Friday night that we get in sync early, because when you rest those guys on the back end of that, when you rest those guys, you kind of lose a little bit of momentum that you're gaining as you're going forward through in the season. So it was good. It was a great win. You beat anybody in our league 48-0, you're doing something right.
Thanks, Coach. Coming up next, we'll get Coach to look ahead to this week's game against the East St. John Wildcats. We'll be right back. Welcome back to On the Prowl. I'm your host, Savannah Shepard. Next game is against East St. John Wildcats. What challenges will they present for the Tigers? What do you have to prepare for this week?
Well, first of all, they're extremely athletic. I mean, they have very tall, rangy kids that play receiver for them. They've always had those kind of athletes on the edges. They're going to give us some problems at quarterback because they play a few different guys. I know Darrensburg has a little bit of an injury, but he looks like Cam Newton running back there. He's a big old guy, and he's going to run a lot of quarterback run game. And then again, their speed in the backfield with 10 and 14. Those guys can really go. And so, offensively, they're going to give us challenges because they're so athletic. Now defensively, they're very, very physical inside. Their two interior players, 55, 58, are really good football players. Their linebacker, one of their inside linebackers, 45, is an excellent football player. So, it's a typical East St. John team in that they're going to be very, very athletic. They're going to be very physical. What we have to do is we have to go over there. It's a tough place to play. Sometimes you get a little bit of home cooking. Sometimes you're playing the officials and the players and the coaches. So, we have to make sure that we just stay focused, that we can only control Hahnville. We have to control Hahnville and do what we do well. And, if we continue to improve as the year goes on, we'll be okay, But we know they absolutely have our attention. We know that they're a really good football team, that their record does not dictate how good of a team they are. So, there are some definite challenges we're going to have Friday night.
On riverparishfootball.com, Marquise Derensburg stated that they are a hungry team and need to push out their last 4 games. How do you plan to use your offensive and defensive threats to make sure that they do not get ahead of your team during the game?
Well, again, I think offensively, we just have to continue to do what we've been doing well, which is run the perimeter offensively and, give Austin time to throw the ball. I think defensively, again, they present a lot of challenges for us. They have a lot of great skilled kids. Derensburg has won a lot of games in his district. And we know he's a little banged up, but he's obviously a competitor. He's out there playing with a torn labrum. And, the idea that he feels like he has to carry his football team speaks volumes of what kind of leader he is. So we're going to, hopefully be up to the task. And, we'll know it'll be a hostile crowd at Joe Keller Stadium. So, again, the only people we can control is Hahnville. We have to practice well. We've had 2 good days of practice. We'll go into practice today, kind of hay day. The hay's going to be in the barn after practice today. And hopefully we're ready to go.
At this stage of the season, how healthy are the Tigers? Are there any major injuries?
No, other than Waylon LeBlanc. We actually lost Ben Hargrave earlier in the year. He has a crack in one of his vertebrae in his back. It's not anything serious. He'll be back for us next year. He's only a junior. But we lost Waylon last week, which was a significant loss because he had really come along after missing his junior year to concentrate on baseball. He's really come along well as a receiver, made some great catches in the St. Thomas More game, as you know. So, those 2 guys are hurting us a little bit, especially from a depth perspective on the offensive line with Ben. But everybody else, we're just, it's like I told the guys on Monday after practice, counting August camp, we're about 13 weeks into it right now, and it's football, and everybody's a little achy and a little sore, and it's going to be the team that manages those aches and pains that are going to get the long playoff run. So I think we're doing a good job of managing it. The Hahnville Sports Medicine program's helping us out tremendously. So, we're just going to hopefully stay healthy again this week and get a win.
Tell us about your Booster Club meeting next Monday.
Every Monday night, 6 o'clock. We get there a little late because we're not getting off the field till about 5:35. But, we have a nice little sandwich for them and some salad and some drinks. And really just a lot of camaraderie. But it's every Monday night, 6 o'clock in the HHS cafeteria.
Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Thank you, Savannah.
And that will do it for this week's edition of Hahnville on the Prowl. For updates and news on Press Play Productions, check out our website at presstoplay.tv. Finally, we leave you tonight with the 2016 Hahnville Homecoming Court Presentation from last Friday. I'm your host, Savannah Shepard, and thanks for watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give the 2016 Hahnville High School Homecoming Court a round of applause. We would also like to welcome back our 2015 Homecoming Queen, Ms. Jada Butler. Ms. Butler will assist Ms. Laura Abbey in presenting the court with their flowers. Ladies and gentlemen, and now the moment we've all been waiting for. Our first maid is Victoria Levy. And now, our maid of honor is Nicole Davis.